Dear Starseed of Gaia, the man who is entering your life at this exact moment has already loved you before this incarnation began, and I am Ayla, an Arcturian emissary who brings this message directly from the Arcturian Council of Love. And this transmission reaches you at this precise moment, because your soul is finally ready to receive what your three-dimensional mind has been afraid to accept throughout all this time of waiting and silence. This is not coincidence, and it is not common timing. This is an intergalactic meeting written in the architecture of your journey. Long before you took your first breath on Gaia, the man who approaches your life does not feel like a stranger, because he is not. He carries the memory of you in the deepest chambers of your multidimensional heart, and somewhere beneath the noise of your daily life, beneath those responsibilities that consume you, beneath that work that drains you. You have felt him approaching, that feeling you cannot explain, that pull toward something you cannot name, that sensation that wakes you in the middle of the night with your heart racing. This is recognition. It is not fantasy. It is your soul remembering what your human mind forgot across the veil of incarnation. I need you to stay with me until the end of this transmission, because the message that the Friends of Light bring is absolutely important for your journey of cosmic love and understanding. And you will discover exactly how to recognize your divine partner when he arrives and align completely with the sacred union that your heart has been calling forward through all your lifetimes. The reason this connection feels so overwhelming, so different from everything you have ever experienced in any relationship before, is not because something is wrong with you or broken in your capacity to love. It is because finally something is absolutely right in perfect cosmic alignment. Divine love does not arrive silently or gently. It arrives as an earthquake in your chest, a disruption of everything that is ordinary, a sacred and profound intervention of the life you built while you were waiting for this exact moment. Before we continue on this deep journey of recognition and alignment with your soul partner, if this video is being useful to you, if you feel your heart awakening to this divine truth and cosmic message, take the opportunity to subscribe to the channel, because what comes next is just the first of many awakenings we have prepared specifically for you. And each transmission will bring you closer to understanding your destiny. Leave your like not just as a simple gesture, but as an energetic declaration to the universe that your heart is open and ready to receive this cosmic love that comes in your direction with every breath. And in the comments, I want you to write, "I am ready," because this genuine affirmation, made with true intention from your deepest self, opens multidimensional portals of reconnection with your Arcturian soul partner and with everything the Council of Love is orchestrating for you at this sacred and transformative moment. They said that solitude was something to be fixed urgently, that you should be in a relationship even if it was not perfect or fulfilling, that you should accept any man who can. Offering companionship, because being alone was supposedly the worst thing that could happen to a woman who dreams of true love and deep connection. They gave you timelines and deadlines for finding love, relationship checklists that seemed to promise happiness, dating profiles on applications designed to reduce love to metrics, and advice from columnists who insisted you put yourself out there aggressively, to stop being so selective about your needs, to lower your standards and compromise your values just enough to make love more convenient and accessible to anyone. And perhaps you tried following some of this conventional advice for a while. Perhaps you smiled through dates that felt like exhausting job interviews. Perhaps you returned home each night to a silence that no amount of distraction or entertainment could really fill adequately or ease. But here you are, still carrying something deep within you that none of these strategies could really touch or heal, still waiting for something transcendent that these conventional pieces of advice cannot possible. I explain or understand. And what if I told you that your inability to settle for mediocre relationships that almost work was never a flaw in your cosmic design, but rather a distinctive and beautiful characteristic of your stellar soul and your multidimensional nature? And what if that silent inner voice that said no to each person who almost functioned in your life, that whispered deeply and persistently that this was not yet the right one, was not fear of commitment or a psychological wound from the past, keeping you emotionally closed, but rather an ancient memory coded directly into your DNA from lifetimes across the stars. And what if somewhere very deep beneath what your human mind can consciously understand or articulate, your soul has been holding a very specific frequency, a precise signal, a blueprint of love that it encoded before this life began. And every time you walked into a connection that did not match perfectly with that sacred blueprint, your entire being simply said no with absolute certainty. Most souls struggling with love are not struggling because love is absent from the universe, or because they are somehow unworthy of receiving it. They are struggling because they are carrying a heart that was built for a very specific kind of union, a sacred and intricate architecture of connection that is unique and profoundly deep. And you have tried so hard to force that heart, a magnificent vessel created for oceanic depths of emotion and spiritual intimacy, to accept something much smaller and more shallow, something confined to a teacup and ordinary interaction. It is such a profound mismatch between your soul's inherent capacity for grand cosmic love and the limited offerings that have been presented to you repeatedly. Your heart, in its exquisite design and delicate construction, resists dilution and constriction naturally. Much like a great river refuses to be contained by a shallow stream, and yearns desperately for the confluence, the merging with another current of equal depth and resonance and power. There is a wound that runs through the divine feminine throughout all incarnations across all dimensions. And this ancient wound has been written into the very fabric of your energetic blueprint through every life. And where love was conditional and restricted, where the tenderness you offered was met with a caveat or qualification, where you were abandoned at the precise moment when you needed to be held most strongly and protected. In Sirius, you were separated forcefully from your soul partner through circumstances beyond your control. In Atlantis, you opened your heart completely and were betrayed by the one you trusted most. In Lemuria, you suffered abandonment by the one you loved with your entire being. These are not just isolated incidents in this particular life you are living now. They are karmic echoes that repeat, impressions pressed deeply into your energetic field across dimensions, vibrational memories that taught your system with a chilling and absolute certainty to associate the vulnerability of love with the sharp sting of betrayal and pain, the courageous act of revealing your true depth with potential danger and exposure, and the glorious surrender of true openness with inevitable loss and heartbreak. It is like a finely tuned instrument, once designed for soaring melodies and beautiful harmonies, having learned through traumatic experience to play a defensive song, vibrating with cautious protection instead of ecstatic possibility and joy. Your heart, in its desperate and primitive need for survival and self-protection, built walls and barriers that from the outside seemed like profound wisdom and discernment, called them boundaries and limits, declaring them as sacred lines of protection against harm, when sometimes in truth they became impenetrable barriers that sealed you off not just from potential pain, but from genuine and authentic connection with another soul. It called emotional distance self-protection and guardedness, a necessary shield against a hostile and uncaring world, when sometimes it was really a subtle form of self-abandonment, meticulously dressed in the language of spiritual growth and emotional maturity. But beneath all this accumulated protection and defense, beneath the intricate strategies you developed, the meticulously crafted armor of your personality, there exists a primordial version of you that still believes in love with absolute eye. A faith still aches with an almost unbearable longing for true recognition, still holds an unspoken prayer deep in your heart about a love that sees you completely and without judgment, not just the highlights and strengths, but the shadows and vulnerabilities, the wild and untamed parts, the deepest oceans of your being and consciousness, not the polished persona you present, not the good and spiritual version you perform for the world, but the wild and sovereign core of yourself. Sometimes sigh and complicated, sometimes magnificent and radiant, that yearns to be found and held without judgment, without condition, without need for explanation or apology. There is a soul in you that still knows true love exists, and that you deserve to find it and experience it fully. There is a very specific soul somewhere in this universe, a very particular energetic signature, woven into the very architecture of your cosmic destiny, that carries the precise alchemical mirror needed to show you exactly who you are at that ancient and sacred forgotten depth of your being. His purpose is not to complete you because you are already whole and sovereign in your own right. His purpose is to confirm you and affirm you, to stand in front of you and reflect something so ancient and profound, so painfully familiar and true, so undeniably resonant with your deepest essence that when it happens, when you meet him, you will not feel like simply falling in love in the conventional sense, a dizzying descent into the unknown and uncertainty. You will feel finally being, recognized at the deepest level, a profound ascension into self-remembrance and truth, a homecoming to a truth your soul has carried through countless lifetimes and dimensions. It is the echo of I know you resonating through the very core of your multidimensional being. This is the nature of cosmic union and true multidimensional recognition between soulmates. This is not a fleeting romance that burns bright and fades. It is a profound soul agreement, a sacred contract written in the stars and encoded in the cosmic fabric before your current incarnation even began. When you truly begin to remember your divine lineage and your stellar origins, when you stop treating your deep sensitivity and emotional depth as a liability or weakness, and start recognizing it as a potent signal of your divine origin, a finely tuned instrument of spiritual discernment, something very profound and irreversible shifts in how you relate to the concept and experience of love. You stop trying to compress your vast and radiant frequency into a smaller, more palatable form that others might find manageable or less intimidating to their own limitations. You stop apologizing for the unrelenting depth of what you feel, for the intensity of your emotions and spiritual perception, for the vastness of your spiritual vision and understanding. You begin to understand with absolute clarity that the partner who is truly meant for you, the soul aligned with your highest destiny and cosmic mission, is not someone who will merely tolerate your intensity or try to diminish and temper it. It is someone who is exquisitely built from the same cosmic fabric to meet it fully, to mirror it perfectly, to amplify it exponentially because they carry a corresponding frequency, a twin spark from the same profound soul lineage and stellar origin. That man you feel approaching from across dimensions and time, the one coming into your life with purpose. He recognizes the echo of your origin in your light because he comes from the same place, from the same star system, from the same cosmic consciousness. He is not looking for you on ordinary social networks or conventional dating applications designed for ordinary connection. He finds you through cosmic resonance because you are literally shining at a frequency that only souls from your stellar system can see and recognize as home and belonging. When you finally stop trying to be smaller to fit into others' expectations and limitations and start embodying your true Arcturian nature fully, when you stop apologizing for the depth of your consciousness and your cosmic awareness, something changes fundamentally in the universe. Your chakras begin to radiate in a pattern we call stella frequentia, an energetic signature that travels across valleys of space-time, that transcends dimensions, that touches his heart and soul wherever he is in the Mao. This multidimensional universe. He knows that you awaken to your truth. He feels when you finally began to remember your cosmic nature. And at that exact moment, he moves forward. He directs his entire life with intention, his choices and decisions, his own incarnation toward that frequency that he recognizes as his original cosmic match and perfect complement. The profound truth that must penetrate your being now is that your soul partner is already moving in your direction, because you just lit a beacon that only he can see across the cosmos. Every time you feel that sensation that something or someone very important is coming toward you, every time you wake at night with your heart racing, knowing that something fundamental is changing, know that your soul is recognizing his approach across dimensions, is feeling the universe and the Arcturian Council, orchestrating your sacred meeting with precision and love, that feeling you have that he already knows you deeply, that there is an ancient memory between you, that there are shared lives and experiences together. That sensation is not imagination or wishful thinking. It is cosmic remembrance activating in the deep cells of your being, ancient neural pathways firing with recognition. If something in this transmission touched you deeply and moved you profoundly, if you feel your heart awakening to a truth that transcends logic and rational thought, then Divine Love Frequency Code was written for exactly this moment in your cosmic journey and evolution. If you feel a longing or a knowing that transcends the rational resonating within you right now as you listen, if you feel that your soul partner is really approaching and that this is your moment, share this sacred moment and this message with someone you know whose heart is also ready and awakening. Leave a comment below, telling which truth activated you and your spirit, which recognition broke the chains that kept you waiting and limited your capacity to receive. And if you are not yet subscribed, subscribe now, because the next transmissions will deepen this journey of recognition and sacred union even further, bringing you closer to your divine meeting. The Arcturians and I are connected with you in frequency and consciousness. May your sacred meeting always be illuminated by the light of the stars and the love of the cosmos.